everyone. Just connecting it. So hello, good afternoon. It's another episode of Matters That Matter. I know you guys are excited for this as much as I am, excited for this also because I have been always looking forward to this episode. I'm always excited to talk about, gender identity, the differences of SOGIE, and the day has come and I'm so excited to discuss it with everyone. So hello. I'm just still waiting for the viewers to go up because I'm supposed to start at 1:30 and I'm a minute early, a minute earlier than usual. So hello, everyone. I've been reading comments, so hello. Hi, BIM supporters. Oh, it's already 1:30, so good afternoon, everyone. Once again, I am Zoe Barcoma, and welcome to another episode of Matters That Matter. So for this afternoon, I know you guys are so excited because we'll be talking about gender. We'll be talking about the LGBTQIA community. And I chose this topic because I realized that it's not just important that you consider yourself as an ally. It's not only important that you join the Pride March, but it is also important that you understand their whys, you understand their plights, you understand where they're coming from. So that is the goal of this conversation, and I hope you guys are gonna find this informative and meaningful because I'm really and truly looking forward to this day because I'm excited to learn much about genders and the community as well. And of course, I'm really sorry that we had to change time because to give also respect to our guests. And I'm sure you guys won't regret this because we have invited two beautiful queens for this afternoon. And I'll be inviting them over, of course, and we'll be talking about rallying for pride as a battle cry for inclusivity of the LGBTQIA plus community. So we have invited queens. I can really say that they are truly queens because they have been voicing out what they truly believe in. They have voicing out their truths for so long. And of course, I won't be inviting guests that don't really fight for their rights. So to of course, to start off, our first guest is actually a fellow PUPian. She is the face of PUP icons, and I have worked with her in PUP. I think it's a talent show in PUP, and it's so much joy working with her because she's such a talented person. And also, the second guest that we have is the first ever Miss Trans Global Queen, and of course from the Philippines. She is also a host and actress, and she broke norms and barriers. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on my live Miss Albian Rivaldo, Miss Trans Global Philippines 2021, and Miss Mela Habidjan, Miss Trans Global 2020. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm inviting them over, so I hope you guys will ask your questions. We'll be glad answering them. Hi, Miss Mela. Hi, Miss Albia. I'm so glad to
Hi.
have you guys in the live. So, Miss Mela, would you like to greet our viewers for this afternoon?
First and foremost, Joy, thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you for lending us your space so that everyone can listen to and engage in the conversation about trans experiences. So to everyone watching us right now, isang maganda, maulang hapon sa ating lahat. I know everyone is inside their homes, but I do hope that safety is a priority for all of us.
Thank you, Miss Mela. How about you, Miss Albi? And do you have anything to say? Of course, most of our
Like,
viewers are PUPians since fellow
of course,
PUPian kita.
likewise, it has always been a pleasure and honor to be alongside Miss Mala and you, of course, as a fellow PUPian. I know that you have ally for the community and for a lot of causes as well. And I am just thankful that you have lended us a platform as well to share the advocacy.
No, I have always said it to you earlier that I am truly grateful for your time and effort, especially Miss Mela, because I have heard that you have just recently recovered from COVID. So may I just know how was it like to experience that? Because we are now in the community quarantine and people still don't understand the gravity or the weight of the situation. So will you tell us your experience about it, just to break the ice?
It's very important for us to get to know that I was fully vaccinated. And I guess it is a blessing to have that kind of situation when I got COVID because I had mild symptoms.
Mhm.
Definitely being in isolation for around 2 weeks is a bit of torture. However, because of the support of my family, of my friends whom I have been connecting with via online, thanks to the online platforms, I think it eased the pain and the torture of being inside the comfort of my room. This is
Mhm.
where I stayed for 2 weeks. But I guess what everyone should know is number one, vaccines do help. So if you're not yet vaccinated or if you don't believe in vaccine, please do know that I am a survivor and it allowed me to just simply get mild symptoms. More so, the recovery after is a journey as well. Right now, I particularly requested Joy to conduct this session in the afternoon. I'm sorry for that. But
No,
because
no.
after 3 p.m., I already get tired. So it is a tiring recovery. But I do hope that I get to recover as soon as possible, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
We are also hoping for your fast recovery as well because we've known that I also learned earlier that Miss Trans Global coronation is nearing. It's on September 25, if I'm not mistaken. And Miss Albion right here is competing for the Miss Trans Global title. And alongside with the Miss Trans Global title holder, our first queen ever, it's I believe it's such an honor. So will you tell us more about your experience, Miss Albion, about your preparations and Miss Trans Global, and what are your expectations in this pageant?
Well, of course, first, I would like everyone to know that Miss Trans Global Philippines is my first ever pageant that I've joined outside the university. So I don't have really that much of idea when it comes to pageantry, but I think what has helped me continue or persist in the competition, despite of all the pressures and the lacking of resources, and of course amidst a global pandemic that is hard to finish your materials. But I think what has helped me with it is the community that we have. I mean, when Miss Trans Global Philippines started, I was helped with my fellow Filipians, of course,
Mm-hmm.
financially, emotionally, and even to my campaigns. They have helped me collectively. I really felt the community, and as well as in competing in the international pageant, I have also felt the utmost support of not just my fellow Filipians, my fellow Ilonggos, but as well as the organization and Queen Mela herself. Very supportive talaga sa akin na Queen Mel, and also my national director, Miss Jan Lee, very supportive, as well as Love Yourself, of course.
I had a meeting with you both earlier, and I can surely see that Miss Mela is very supportive about you because she calls you anak, and it's
Yeah.
something that is parang, I think empowering for someone who is vying for the title because it came from a queen. It came from the queen herself. So you have mentioned about the community, and this is what I'm really looking forward to the discussion because we have been mentioning I think every discussion now involves the word community. And for now, we're going to talk about the trans community and, of course, the LGBTQIA plus community. And I particularly, of course, mentioned earlier that I want to know more about the community itself. But I'd like to start in the SOGIE because I think most of the people here also have, difficulties when it comes to understanding the differences of it. So, Miss Mella, would you like or would you please educate us about the differences of sexual orientation, from gender identity, and of course, gender expression. So, what are the differences of those three?
Let me begin, Joy, by saying that it's okay if everyone is confused because that's the point of being in a diverse world. Diversity is such a wonderful keyword that we need to understand because at a standpoint of just merely understanding what SOGI is, laging mayroong perspective na nakakalito naman, and that is okay because it is a spectrum. Just imagine you are studying Kingdom Animalia in your zoology course. There are so many animals in the world, and you cannot fully grasp every single animal because they are a lot. More so when it comes to human beings, that's also the point of diversity, that there are differences, there are instances of individualities that may be different from another individual because we are unique on our own. That being said, sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression are beautiful representations of gender and sexuality. When we say sexual orientation, it is about the attraction. Who are you attracted to? When we say gender identity, how do you see yourself? How do you identify yourself as? And when it is about gender expression, it's really about how you present yourself to the world. So imagine body parts being associated with SOGIE. Gender identity pertains to your mind, how you think of yourself. Sexual orientation is your heart. Who are you attracted to? Who you love? And of course, gender expression will always be about your body, how you carry yourself and present yourself in public. That's the primary difference. But everything, it pertains about our gender and sexuality, which is anchored on diversity. So whichever sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression you identify and you actually think who you are valid.
I think this is the most informative explanation that I haven't ever encountered when it comes to the discussion about gender. And I have to thank you for that because I like the analogy that when it comes to gender identity or gender expression or sexual orientation, you just have to associate with your body parts. It makes it easier for you to identify which is which. And it actually removes the confusion, which in the first place is the major problem why people are having difficulties when it comes to understanding the community. Now, I want to ask Miss Albion because I saw on your bio that you have this pronouns she or they. Did you ever experience, or was there ever a time wherein you had difficulty, or also, or were you able were you ever confused about your identity, about your gender, and how were you able to like really identify it? How were you able to find yourself in the process?
Ever since I was young, of course, I've already felt like I do not belong in the stringent containments to what is a boy or a girl. I mean, I've never understood how a boy's mind works, you know. Kaya tinatanong ko parati mga kaibigan ko na lalaki on why do boys do this, or why do they respond to this, because I want to understand them. And I think from that early age, that has shown that I am not like most kids. And well, of course, there is confusion because, as I always say, um, there is a lack of sex education that gives us more more idea on SOGIE and to know more about ourselves. Our education now is still, you know, reactionary, still represses us to the gender binary and cis heteronormativity. Therefore, it is not liberating, and we get to be confused. And I think that is not on us. You know, it is much more on the system, and it is okay to be confused as well because we grow as individuals. We get to know more about ourselves every day, and it doesn't make our identities less valid to how we have presented ourselves before or now, because we get to know more about ourselves. And as we always reiterate, kulang pa rin yung education when it comes to SOGIE. And I think with when we raise SOGIE equality bill, that also comes with education, and therefore having less people of diverse SOGIE navigate through dangerous places just to know more about themselves. I mean, me personally, I've I felt like I've never enjoyed much of my high school because I've even I mean school itself, I've never enjoyed it because I've had to navigate through my identity amidst all the discrimination pa and repression of my expression. Well, when it comes to my pronouns, it is she, they, because, well, everyone can support the non-binary movements. I mean, they, them is for everyone, and but most it is used by non-binary people. Well, it is gender neutral in the first. therefore can be used by everyone. But before I have come out as a trans woman, I actually came out as a non-binary because there is a part of me that is learning on SOGIE pa, and later on I have realized that since I was a child, I've really felt like I belonged to the group of women, and I really felt like a woman, and I felt more comfortable in it.
As much as I'm enjoying truly the conversation that we're having right now, I'm also actually saddened that you have mentioned that you didn't really enjoy your school way back because you have experienced discrimination. And this is what I want to ask to the both of you, that I know that the struggles of the LGBTQIA plus community and not just the trans community are all intersectional. So may I know what are the major struggles or what are the defining moments that you realize that, oh, we need to make a change? What intersectional problem when it comes to, for example, education, healthcare, social or political rights really hindered you from becoming who you are? And how did you manage to navigate out of that? Miss Mela.
Siguro mahalagang i-define muna natin what is intersectional because to some, this might be unfamiliar. Intersectional means dito nagtatagpo yung mga bagay ng pagkatao natin. For example, I am a trans woman, I'm also a daughter, I'm also a writer, I'm also part of the LGBTQ plus community, who you are in different facets of your life. So meron tayong pagtatagpo that we are not just one, but we are facets of many contributions to our society. That being said, the intersectionality means I am a transgender woman, but I may also be confronting different problems in terms of one, if I am a person of faith and I believe in the supreme being, I can encounter a problem in that case. I am a student. Pagdating sa pagiging estudyante ko, bahagi nun ang aking pagiging transgender woman. Nagtatagpo din doon kung ano ang aking karanasan. Or if I am a worker, for example, or in any field, whether it be military, medical, entertainment, kung saan ka mang bahagi, definitely you also represent a different kind of experience or encounter. In terms of social status, di ba? Dito din natin ma-define how you are as a person, the education that you got, di ba? The exposures that you get from media. So definitely there are experiences that are unique to all of us because of the different facets that we experience every day. That being said, there are transgender women who are deprived of the opportunity to go to school because there are certain educational institutions that do not allow transgender women to express themselves how they want themselves to be. Okay, in terms of uniform policies, in terms of being addressed with the chosen names and the proper the pronouns that they want to be addressed as. In terms of work, there are transgender women and there are LGBTQ plus people who are unfortunate enough to be in a position of getting hired. And somehow that is frustrating because it limits the options of LGBTQIA plus people to level up their lifestyle, more so their opportunities in life. There are also LGBTQIA plus people who just simply want to express their faith. However, because there are certain instances that religions impose this particular faith, they begin to question their worth and they begin to question their faith. So I'd like to believe that we must address these things at a standpoint of human rights. That one, LGBTQIA plus people deserve the right to be educated, deserve the right to be at a workplace, and deserve the right to live their faith. So these are just some of the problems that we see every single day. There are definitely more problems that we encounter, but as queens of Miss Trans Global, as LGBTQIA plus advocates, this is why we keep on engaging in these type of conversation, because we need to address these things so that we can create policies that can include us.
I like the explanation about the incorporation of SOGIE bill or the human rights that everyone deserves, because I understand and I agree that everything is intersectional and everything has an issue, especially with the community, especially with people that don't understand the community. And thank you for educating and putting light into that, that everyone is having a hard time, especially when it comes to their gender expression, when it comes to school, when it comes to religion, when it comes to workplaces, because it boils mainly on our lack of rights given to these people, given to the community itself. So I just want to ask Miss Albian, did you ever come to a point wherein you also experienced this kind of issues, this intersectional issues, and how were you able to like overcome them? And what particular moment really like stood on you, or what really made an impact on you?
Well, as a PUPN, dito ko talaga nalaman what intersectionality is. You know, I mean, I've been in the advocacy ever since I was in junior high, but you know, I don't have that depth of assessment when it comes to our struggles. But when I entered PUP, I was exposed to this diverse culture. There are students coming from agricultural communities, farming communities, workers, and you know, our campaigns in the university are raised always on an intersectional level, on a broadest line possible that encompasses other sectors of our society. And I think there is also what we should also remember about intersectionality is that it has this duality, that it can be weaponized against us so that we can you know, not unify as soon as possible, or like be divided more. But as well, but it is also positive. It has also this positive side to it. Na it can unite us when we go past this manipulation to our intersectionality. Because you know, when we have intersectionality, we tend to focus more on one sector that we belong to. Therefore, we cannot hindi tayo nakakabuo ng broadest line or broadest assessment when it comes to our struggles. And divided yung campaigns na gagawa natin. And it is easier for our oppressors or for those who are using their power against us to continue to discriminate against us. Kung kaya mas tumatagal yung laban natin, or hindi siya mas mabilis nag-push through. And I guess intersectionality we should always use intersectionality to find a denomination with other sectors, and not just on our personal struggles. For example, other sectors find it hard to understand trans women in institutions because they don't know what it's like to be a trans woman. But I think we can explain it to them in a sense that making them realize of how systemic our oppression is. And when I was in PUP, dito ko rin nalaman talaga through constant engaging with advocates and activists, through constant educational discussions and mass integrations, kung ano yung mga systems ng oppression na kalakhang nagde-dominate sa mga struggles. And for example, when it comes to the gender struggle, you know, we have patriarchy. We always raise patriarchy as that oppressive system that oppresses gender. But upon educational and advocates, I have learned that patriarchy is also or nagbunga mula sa macho feudalism. And macho feudalism plays power dynamics on those who have the land and those who have not. And therefore, there is this intersectionality on those who are oppressed agricultural communities, you know, those who are coming from the farming community. And also, it plays power dynamics to age. Kung kaya yung mga kabataan hindi napapakinggan dahil, ayun, ina-expect tayo na makinig lamang sa matatanda. And I think it is really powerful to raise our campaigns as a trans woman and also as a member of the youth. Because we get to break beyond these systems and show them that even though, alam mo yun, even though na mas bata ako sa mga nakikinig sa akin, I can do relevant change. We can do relevant change. And also, this macho feudalism has been birthed to patriarchy. So, kaya, on what sense? Well, of course, when there is this agricultural sector, yung mga nakakatrabaho lang, it roots back to Spanish colonization eh. Yung mga nakakatrabaho sa sakahan ay yung mga lalaki. Kaya yung mga babae ay na-expect na sa bahay lang. Yung mga palakas lalaki, kung kayo karoon ng pagkakamix. And I think through constant educational discussions then, and doon natin makikita kung saan tayo nag-denominate sa ating mga struggles. At hindi tayo isolated sa ating struggles alone.
A lot of people still don't understand how saddening really are the struggles that people in the community are going through. Akala lang kasi nila parang ano lang yan eh, parang it's the amount that we pay for being someone that we are. So feeling nila, when we tolerate someone, when we accept them, when we think that we accept them as who they are, we have the right to think badly about them or to treat them badly kasi tinanggap na kita as ganyan eh. And this is one of the issues that people in the community are facing. That people who don't understand truly, the people from the LGBTQIA plus community thinks that if they are tolerating if they are tolerating your presence or your image as a person, it means for them that is already acceptance. Pero what is really acceptance for the LGBTQIA plus community? Ano yung meaning ng acceptance for the community? And how can we truly achieve a safe space for everyone? Miss Mela.
I think we must understand the situations of LGBTQIA plus people because somehow, tama ka dun sa sinabi mo, that there are instances in which cisgender, heterosexual people will always say, tanggap naman namin kayo. Pero pansinin natin yung mga pangyayari sa ating lipunan. Una, bakit may mga batang takot mag-out? Bakit may mga batang takot na isabuhay kung ano ang kanilang katotohanan? Why are there LGBTQIA plus people who feel defeated every time they look for opportunities, whether it be work or getting educated? Why are there LGBTQIA plus people who experience violence at different aspects of public spaces? Recently, we just saw an LGBTQIA plus person in Zamboanga who was quietly walking in the streets of their neighborhood. However, there's this young teen, a guy, who suddenly ran to that LGBTQIA plus person and just simply kicked the person from the back. These are manifestations that we experience violence and discrimination every single day. So we cannot say that LGBTQIA plus people are accepted if we have these cases. To me, the complete manifestation of acceptance is one, if all homes are actually safe spaces. Meaning to say that if parents and siblings are welcoming and accepting of LGBTQIA plus kids, LGBTQIA plus relatives, that is a manifestation in which outside the comforts of their home, we are building a safe space for every single person regardless of gender. Hanggat may batang natatakot, hanggat may batang hindi kayang angkinin ng kanyang sarili, hanggat may batang pinagagalitan dahil siya'y babakla-bakla, lalamya-lamya o totomboy-tomboy, hanggat may batang ikinukutsa ng kanyang mga kalaro, hanggat may batang hindi niya alam sa sarili niya kung matutupad niya ang kanyang mga pangarap, these are manifestations that LGBTQIA plus people are not accepted.
The message about kids is so powerful that it kind of resonated with me because I also had that prejudice when it comes to gay people before. Na parang kapag ang common kasi na tingin natin dati sa mga gay people or members of the LGBTQIA plus community is parang source of entertainment. It has been deeply rooted in us na kapag bakla ang isang tao, they're always automatically funny. They always have to be funny. If they're not funny, walang sense yung pagiging bakla ng isang tao. And this is one of the reasons why we are marching for Pride. Kasi hindi lang sila dapat view as that person. They also have to have their own identities. They also have to have their own type of expressions, the way they want to express themselves. And we don't have to label them as what we want them to be. So yun yung mga isa or ilang mga bagay na pinaglalaban natin when we are marching for Pride. And a lot of people are claiming that they are an ally because they have marched with the community sa Pride March, for example, every June, or whenever they are like changing their profile pictures with LGBTQIA plus flags. So parang automatically, it connotes to them na sinusuportahan na nila yung community. But what does it really mean for us to be an ally? Kasi naririnig namin ngayon yung problema, pero ano yung magagawa ng mga tao na hindi miyembro ng komunidad para magkaroon ng pagbabago at para maging parte talaga siya ng pagbabago? Miss Albian, I have to ask you this question because I think coming from, of course, a school community, mas dikit or mas malaki yung connection natin sa mga kabataan. Of course, I do not want to disregard the connection that Miss Mela has, but then still you are in a school setting. So ano yung masasabi nyo? What does it truly mean to be an ally?
Well, looking back to my answer to the final Q&A is Trans Global Philippines, my 3 points ako na natatandaan doon. First, of course, I would have to say na no one is born a perfect ally or a perfect advocate. So I think our first point is being decisive to be an ally. That is already a powerful action, you know, to be decisive, to say to yourself na I want to be an ally. And I think from there starts a lot more progress. But of course, it doesn't just end there. Although, syempre, we say that para hindi naman ma-invalidate yung mga pumapasok sa advocacy work to be an ally to the LGBTQ plus community. We welcome them. We embrace them. There's nothing wrong with being not perfect. But of course, you need to also educate yourself. It doesn't just end with saying that you are an ally. You educate yourself. You rally with the community. And to be genuine ally, second point, you need to be integrating with us. You have to, you know, iba kasi, like the tolerance and acceptance conversation. Tolerance is like, you know, recognizing that they exist and passively letting them exist in the community and the society. But acceptance is welcoming them in, welcoming people or communities in as equals, included in our lives, in our concept of society. My engagement and integrating, we can have a closer look to the struggles of the community. Hindi man natin isabuhay ito personally because of course we are not part of we may say that we are not part of the LGBTQIA+ community, but at least we can have a closer look to it. We get to be more compassionate. We get to, you know, not just read about their struggles, about our struggles, but to actually live to it closely. And I think from there, we can create that bond na, alam mo, hindi lang ally ka, hindi ka lang nag-champion for our rights. You rally with us. You belong to our community. You include us in your concept of society. And from there, I think the third point is we should know how to love. Like what I said in the final Q&A, a love without conditions. Because, you know, you don't need to call yourself the champion or you don't need to be iconized as an ally. You need, kasi ang power ay hindi nanggagaling sa isang tao lamang. It comes from our collective efforts. Power comes from not just advocates, but the masses itself. You know, we are not here to empower the community lang, but to let them realize the power that there is already in them.
I like that. The power that is already in them. I actually like that, Ms. Albian, and thank you for raising that 3 points. And I have to agree with you on the difference of tolerance and acceptance because I think you have articulated it in a way that everyone will understand in the life. That tolerance is just passively letting them exist, but acceptance is welcoming them in and understanding their plights as a person and understanding them as a person. So thank you so much for that. Miss Mela, I want to know naman your viewpoint, especially that you have worked with the organization that promotes the community and make the community be understood more by the people. So what does it truly mean for you to be an ally of the community? Of course, it's not just enough to march with them during Pride Month. It's not just enough for the community, for someone to just change their profile pictures whenever it favors them, for them to look like really a supporter of the community. So for you, how can people truly help in progressing as a nation when it comes to accepting the community in the society and as part of the society.
Joy, it begins one with openness. Openness to the fact that there are things that we have been accustomed to, traditions that we are born to, that are actually invalidating other people's identities. More so, knowing the fact that these are exclusionary, we can unlearn this. By being open, we get to see that there are principles and traditions that we have been exercising all our lives that should be unlearned. And they are rooted from discrimination, they are rooted from marginalizing, they're rooted from their biases. And I think we have to review them, and we can only do that by being open. More so, I think the other translation of ally for me is being a true friend. An ally will always be a true friend on my end. If you're willing to accept me, flaws and all, if you're willing to fight with me, if you think that I am experiencing less privileges than you are, if you think that you can celebrate my victories, if you think that I can share the table with you, if you think that you can listen every time I am in pain, if you think you can laugh with me every time I crack a joke, if you think you can cry with me every time I feel emotional or every time I am at the highest of my emotions, then you are being an ally. Because an ally for me will always speak about embracing someone, anyone, at any given point without minding where he, she, they are from, without minding the flaws, without minding the status in life. All you have to do is just understand eye to eye. Joy, you are a person. I accept you for who you are. Albian, you are a person. I embrace you for who you are. And hopefully, you get to see me at that point of view. You get to embrace me wholeheartedly, regardless of my flaws, and celebrate the beauty that I possess.
Your words are truly powerful, and I can really feel it. I think the audience can too, and I can really see the desire of people from the community just by speaking to the both of you when it comes to fighting for equal rights, when it comes to fighting for equal privileges. Because people think that saan ba titigil? Saan bang limitasyon nila? Tinanggap na nga natin sila sa society and now they want more, they want this, they want that. And people are like thinking na parang sumusobra na yung community for demanding more. But hearing those words from you, I can just say and I can truly understand that they are not demanding more. They are just demanding what is right for them. They are just demanding what is right for everyone else's. Even if you are not part of the community, if you can feel for the people, if you can feel for a person, and if you are truly a friend, you would demand the same thing for them. Because it will never step on anyone's right. Wala namang tayong tinatapakan na ibang tao dito. That's why I feel so much for the people in the community, because I can understand your plight. And hearing those words from you, especially from the members of the community itself, hindi ko lang siya narinig second hand. Hindi ko lang siya narinig as a person na nakikinig ng kwento from another person. I heard it straight from people who have experienced discrimination, have experienced being denied of opportunities because of who they are. And people think that it is okay, but I know that it is not. And I asked about being an ally, what it means like for you guys to be an ally. Kasi it is a common question ngayon, lalo na sa mga beauty queens, sa beauty pageants. They always ask beauty queens na parang, oh, do you accept ba trans people joining a women's beauty pageant? It's always a discussion. And I think it draws the line whether the community will support a person or not. And they're being judged for it. Pero ako kasi hindi ko siya tinitignan at that way. I'm looking at it more in a deeper context, that it is for the rights of these people, it's for equality, it is for inclusivity. So I just want to know, Miss Mela, ano po yung viewpoint nyo? Kasi we are being judged, especially I'd like to use the term that I learned earlier, the cisgender woman, na kapag pumayag ka that trans women will join a women's beauty pageant, you are automatically an ally because you understand that they are women. So I want to know, how can we explain to these people that don't understand why trans women are women?
Pag tinanong kita, Joy,
Mm-hmm.
how do you define womanhood?
Oh God, it's such a big question, but I do not depend it on gender. I do not depend it on what you were born with. I depend it on how you think, how you act, and how you nurture people. And I think women has this nurturing act. And if you are someone who thinks and feels like you're a woman because you care for other people, you act as a woman, then I consider you as a woman. Because I think beauty pageants are here to empower women, and if we are not to include trans women in the beauty pageant, then I think we are not really empowering women. Tinitingnan ko ang babae sa kung paano sila mag-isip, sa kung paano nila itrato yung kapwa nila. It doesn't have anything to do with what they're born with. It doesn't have anything to do kung ano man yung label na binibigay nila sa sarili nila, because I respect what they view themselves are. So para sa akin, ang pagiging babae ay ang pag-arte bilang babae, pag-iisip bilang babae, at paglaban bilang babae.
Thank you for that. Therefore, we must always know that womanhood is beyond and will never be defined by biology. That womanhood will never be defined by the vagina that the body possesses. But rather, womanhood will always be what's inside a person's mind, what's inside a person's heart, what is inside a person's intention. A woman will always have that sensitivity. A woman will always have that power to feel, be intuitive, be engaging, be nurturing. A woman will always desire to change, to be empowered, to affect other people's lives. And that's what we feel too. In our minds, we are women. In our hearts, we are women. In our souls, we are women. Therefore, transgender women are women. Beyond bodies, beyond vaginas, beyond whatever biology is dictating what women should be.
Thank you so much for that, Miss Mela, because I know and I understand that not all people understand why it is so important for trans women to be viewed as women and to be accepted as women, because I don't think that they truly understand the concept of what a woman is. That is why they're having a hard time grasping the idea that trans women are women. And so I just want to know the viewpoint of Miss Albian, since you are also a woman, Miss Albian, and considering that you are now vying for the Miss Trans Global title, what are your major, I think, fight, or what is your major concern when it comes to promoting trans women in making the people understand that you are also women and that you should be accepted as that?
I think it also boils down to how we define womanhood. I think our current concept of womanhood is still heavily influenced by our systems of oppression. Well, of course, women in general were made to think that, or were made to think that they are just this or that they are just nurturing, to be in the households, and somehow that contains womanhood. It is still the same systemic oppression that defines womanhood for us that we continue to use. But I think womanhood, women can be whatever they want to be. They can be all facets of humanity. And I think what draws womanhood is not our capability to be nurturing, to be in the household, to be in the roles and places that patriarchy has defined womanhood, but our capability to denominate with all women, to realize the beauty that there is in all women, and draw our points, our voices in the table of discourse against these very systems. Because because you know you are a woman when you feel oppressed by these systems, the systems that has made us feel low, than men. And I think that marks our womanhood when we break beyond these systems.
Okay, so just listening to all this, I think we have more to talk about, but I don't think we have all the time. But I'm really, really loving the conversation. So I just want to know, this is an ending question to the both of you, Miss Mela and Miss Albian. But I'd like to start with Miss Albian. As members, voices, and power of the community, not just the LGBTQIA plus community, but the community itself, community as a whole. What is the ultimate goal that has to be achieved for you to say that this is what we deserve?
Ultimate goal when it comes to the struggle of the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yes.
Well, I think I cannot say um, that would sound utopic if I would say what is the ultimate goal, because we'll never know how the society will progress. And I think our response to the society changes as it progresses as well. But for now, I think we must call for tangible efforts. And I think that also entails acceptance. When we have tangible efforts protecting us and upholding our rights and also empowering us and having our well-beings upheld, And that is with the passage of first the SOGIE Equality Bill. And that doesn't end there. That doesn't end with the aspect of politics. Well, of course, mabilis ma-influensya yung politics. It starts with the politics. But there is also the culture. That is why pride continues, because although we have relative progress in our society, I mean, in PUP alone, we have experienced admins repressing us, but now we have Center for Inclusion and Diversity, and constantly, our institutions are getting more inclusive. But despite of those relevant progress, there's also the persistence of discrimination. And I think that hits the cultural aspect of our struggle. And culture and changing the culture doesn't just end, or it doesn't just happen in one day. It is continuous. And it should persist with the upcoming generations. Kaya kung patuloy ang pagkamulat ng mga tao sa revolutionaryong concept of gender, one that is inclusive and liberates all, patuloy din yung pag-flourish ng mga reactionaryong concept or mentality sa gender. Patuloy na dumadami pa rin yung ayaw na lumaya tayo. Kumbaga, it passes from generation to generations. It doesn't just end through our generation. Kahit masabi natin na mas inclusive yung Gen Z, syempre patuloy pa rin yung pagdami din ng mga reactionary forces. And I think that is where our power lies, in our intergenerational struggle. Our ancestors before has no idea when this will end, or what is the ultimate goal per se. But that did not stop them. They always answer to the material conditions of our society. And as long as there is one person who is being discriminated on the basis of SOGIE, of gender, of any sectors in our society, our fight continues. And I think we can. Yes.
Go on, continue. You think you can continue?
I think we can just say it's the end goal when of course we don't. Well, of course, just like the safe spaces kanina na sinabi ni Ms. Mela, when you go out of your homes, when you don't feel like having safe spaces anymore, because the society itself is the safe space for everyone.
Thank you for that. I'm sorry for cutting you, because I like what you said, that as long as there is still one person that is being discriminated by their SOGIE, then the fight is not yet over. So thank you so much for pointing that out. And I also have to ask Ms. Mela, because we are always aiming to have discourse, to break norms, and to change norms, and to also break barriers when it comes to the issues that the LGBTQIA plus community is facing. So what do you think is, if we cannot achieve an ultimate goal right now, what do you think is the most important thing that we should focus on for the community to say that we have achieved more than what we have achieved before? For the community to say that we have reached a long run or we have done this, or we have done so much for the community, that we can able to, that we will be able to like rest and be, and just breathe in our own houses and think that, okay, my sisters, my brothers are now safe.
I'd like to believe that the expression of being liberated from a society that judges us will always begin at home. I am a reflection of what it is like to be accepted by parents, what it is like to be celebrated by my siblings, what it is like to be regarded as a powerful individual in my family. And I do hope that every single kid will experience that, whether they're LGBTQIA plus or not, because every kid must be celebrated. The first heartbreak that we experience is when we see older people or family members break our hearts because of our dreams, break our hearts because of our identities, break our hearts because they fear of the world. I hope homes will begin to cultivate that mindset that nothing should be feared about LGBTQIA plus kids. Rather, they must be celebrated because LGBTQIA plus kids are talented. LGBTQIA plus kids are born to be LGBTQIA plus because that's an expression of diversity. That LGBTQIA plus kids can be can become good, kind-hearted people only if their families make them one. So the world will become, and that's the goal, the world will become an inclusive society if only we begin it at the comforts of our home.
Thank you for that, Miss Mela. Oh my God, I'm so moved. I'm so touched about the messages that I've been hearing from the both of you. And I can truly feel from where you are right now the desire to really fight for the rights that you guys deserve. Because I know that everyone deserves to have an equal right. And I've read comments here that they want more, that they wish that we have more conversations about this in the future. Because I know that we are also aiming for a community that is inclusive for everyone and not just inclusive for the people that we want to accept. We want to have a community that are more embracing, that is more embracing, that is more loving, that is more understanding and is more accepting. And we are far from that if we still don't understand the basics of on why we have to give the community the rights that they truly deserve, on why we should give them the equality that we are enjoying right now. And thank you so much for this opportunity, for you have given me the time to ponder on these ideas, on these issues that needs to be addressed. And of course, for giving me your thoughts, your knowledge, and of course your wisdom when it comes to things that truly matter. And I think that is really the aim. And I want to give a huge shout out to the both of you because I managed to understand more. I learned more and I understood more because you made me understand. You made me more accepting, even though I have already accepted the people in the community. You made me more accepted and more loving because of what I heard from you. And I think people should also learn how to do that, how to improve themselves and how to be inclusive when it comes to accepting people, not because they just prefer to, but because they deserve that. So thank you so much for that, Miss Mela. Thank you so much, Miss Albian. And I'm claiming that you're going to get your crown on September 25, if I'm not mistaken. But before we end the live, I just want to know if you have more message to say to our viewers, starting from Miss Mela.
Thank you so much for those who tuned in. You listening to us means a lot to me because that gives me hope. Every time there are people who listen, that is an expression that um, most people who listen are there to be educated, are there willing to unlearn what they have learned and relearn so that they can understand the world in a diverse and inclusive perspective. If you're an LGBTQIA plus struggling to find your own voice, that is okay. because this is a process. Every time you feel that it is so hard for you to express who you are, that's okay. That's fine. Do not worry because the three queens inside this video right now are willing to hold your hand. I, as your ate, I, as your mommy, I, as an LGBTQIA plus person, will always be willing to listen to you, and I will be patient enough, and I will be your cheerleader, telling you there's nothing wrong with you, and one day you will be able to find your power. So cheers to the powerful women, to the powerful men, and to the powerful LGBTQIA plus who believe in inclusivity.
Thank you, Miss Mela. Miss Albian?
Well, just like Miss Mela, I would like to say a huge thanks to everyone who are watching right now, and of course to you, Miss Joy, as well. I think it is like what I've said earlier. It is really powerful to decide for ourselves. We are not born to be good allies now. I mean, we're not born to be innately good per se, but we decide to be good. We decide to be allies, and I hope more of us decide to be allies, decide to be good and compassionate amongst one another, so that we can have a more inclusive society. And of course, to those who are members of the LGBTQIA plus community as well, I would like to say that in a same sense, our power and truth lies in um, our power to be decisive in asserting our rights and our identities in this society. You deserve to be in this society. There's nothing wrong with you. And it is just for you to decide that for yourself as well.
Thank you so much, Miss Mela, and thank you so much, Miss Albian. I can truly say that this is such a meaningful conversation, and thank you also to our viewers, to our listeners this afternoon, because I just want to reiterate that their fight for inclusivity is also our fight. Ang paglaban nila para sa kanilang mga karapatan ay paglaban din para sa ating karapatan na maging malaya at maging masaya sa pipiliin nating komunidad o paraan ng pamumuhay. So maraming salamat po, Miss Mela. Maraming salamat, Miss Albian. This is an unending gratitude to the both of you, and of course to Sir Carlo for giving me this opportunity to have a conversation and a discussion, especially in these times wherein we should fight more for the equality, not just for the women, for men, but also for all genders that are living in this world, because we all truly deserve to live a life that is full, to live a life that is with acceptance and that is with love. So maraming salamat po again. Thank you to all our viewers. This is another episode of Matters That Matter. I am Joy Barcoma, and I'm forever an ally. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you,
Thank you.
Miss Mela. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Miss
Maraming
Alvia.
salamat. Ingat.
Thank you. Maraming salamat po. Thank you.